Hello, Scream Demons, and welcome to the Screams from the Basement podcast with Sam and Casey. I am one of your creepy co-hosts. I am Casey.
I'm Sam the Damned, and let's get screaming.
Let's get screaming as we are joined in the basement by stand-up comic and host of the Horror Nerds comedy podcast, Samantha Hale, here to talk about her new special, Samantha Hale, Horror Nerd.
Samantha's stand-up special details how she grew up a horror nerd and how her love for the genre is still very active today. Through a series of humorous stories, quippy jokes, and tongue-in-cheek horror references, Samantha explores what being a horror fan means to her. Samantha, thank you for coming on the show. Congrats on the special. How has life been?
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, and thank you for that wonderful introduction. If you could just follow me around and just say that to everybody who says, "What's a horror comic?" Just say that. It was perfect.
Yeah, no, we watched the special. We had a ton of fun with it. Like it is very much by design for horror nerds.
Yeah.
Hence the title, I suppose.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, like Horror Nerd, when we do the show live, so we've been running the show out of the Hollywood Improv for 4 years now, which is pretty epic. But the way I describe it is like, this is where and I say weird as a compliment, this is where the weird kids come to feel seen and safe, and like they can just be themselves and get creative and not worry about being cool, even though that's what makes us cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's the whole idea, is like everyone's welcome, and spooky or not, you're gonna be spooky when you're at my show. That's for sure.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
we appreciate the spooky here. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
And there's a black cat. That's perfect.
There is 100% a black cat.
That's
So on
Boris,
brand.
named after Karloff.
Perfect. Oh, of course, the only Boris.
Yeah.
So first
Awesome.
question I have for you, Samantha, is
Yeah.
you mentioned in the special that you've been a horror fan literally your entire life, like some of your earliest memories, horror stuff.
Yep.
Where did the comedy side then come into it of like, I'm going to take these two things I love and we're going to weave them together and intersect them? How does that happen?
Yeah, the crazy thing is I knew that I loved horror. Like, I knew I was a nerd well before I ever thought I would be a stand-up comic. Like, if you would have told me you're going to be a comic, I'd be like, cool, why? Really? What? Huh? It wouldn't have occurred to me. But I kind of felt like I fell into it. I just fell in love with it and started doing it. And I was I was maybe like 10 years or so in. And when you hit the 10-year mark doing something, sometimes you're like, okay, how do I reinvent this? What's next? Like, what's the exciting? I've done the family and the dating and kind of the stuff that you see in people's earlier specials. And then the pandemic happened, right? And we were all bored out of our minds. And especially here in Los Angeles, I couldn't work for like 2 years. So I wanted to keep myself happy and I wanted to keep myself motivated. So I went to all the horror filming locations because I'm lucky enough to have them all, like, within a half hour. I have the Michael Myers house, the Nightmare on Elm Street house, the People Under the Stairs house, all the really cool Child's Play too. I mean, Pasadena is like a mecca for these, right? Have you been? Have you guys been?
No, but we've
Oh,
been
you have to.
wanting to get out there and check all that stuff
Come
out. Yeah.
out. I will drive you to all of them. And I just started like making jokes in front of the actual house about the movie or the killer or whoever it is. And it was so much fun, and it kept me like alive, in a time where we were all very shut down in so many ways. And people kept asking me, what's your next house? And so I wound up just writing all this material. And then when the world kind of reopened again, the improv was like taking submissions because they had space. They were kind of bringing in new shows. And so my friend Sarah Taylor was like, hey, why don't you pitch them? I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. We're going to want my weird spooky idea. Maybe they'll do it in October. But turns out they were wonderful and so open to it. And it went so well that eventually it turned into a once a month show. So
That's awesome.
yeah, it kind of kept me going. I honestly, like, I was so burned out creatively, and I needed something that I was really excited about. And this was it. This became it. It kind of happened organically, which is sometimes the best way. Like, I didn't force it. It just happened. And I think that's why it was such a lifesaver as a comic. And now I actually have kind of a hard time doing like regular shows because I'm like, all right, how weird can I get with these people? Are they going to understand anything I'm saying? Like, I test the waters with like, okay, everybody knows Freddy, everybody knows Jason. But now I have like 2 different comic brains, and I have to switch back and forth sometimes, and it's a little crazy. I feel like Jekyll and Hyde a little bit.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So like in your special, you talk about like being a horror fan from a young age and like some of those early memories. Like
Yeah.
you also talk about having a parent that was a horror fan.
Oh, yeah.
Which is something that I feel like a lot of horror fans like I never got that experience. Like both of my
Really?
parents are very not like horror people. Like I
Oh,
was a
wow.
scaredy cat growing up. I kind of came into it in high school and like
Oh,
and
wow.
beyond.
Late bloomer.
Yeah. So like what I don't know, like what's it like having a parent that's literally taking you to maybe like movies you might not you shouldn't see maybe or
Yeah, years of
that you're
trauma would
young.
be the answer. Years of night terrors. Thank you, Pennywise. You freaking clown. Yeah, that was the one. That was the one. And of course, I talk about it in the special about like my dad really did let me see that movie when I was not prepared for it. It gave me such severe night terrors. Like I remember some actual nightmares that I had. It was so bad. And it was like for years, I kept trying to conquer my fear of this Pennywise. Because Tim Curry, I mean, that speaks to how absolutely brilliant Tim Curry is. And it took me years. And then like I would wait a year, watch it again. I'd be like, nope, wait another 6 months. Nope. And then I think the last time that I watched it when I was maybe like 12, I'm just screaming. Like, could we swear? I can swear, right? Can I swear?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
100%.
I was like, you fucking clown, you bucktooth bitch. Like, I was just screaming at this. I was so mad. And now I love him. Now he's like a good friend. But it took me a while and it took me some anger. But those are some of my favorite memories. You know, I have this very, very strong memory of seeing that film. And my dad, for whatever reason, had a white glove, like a long white glove, in the living room. And I was like, bro, get that out of here. He's gonna come into it and he's gonna freaking come out of a drain and eat me. Get rid of that. Now I think it's hilarious. At the time, maybe it wasn't so funny. But yeah. So that was like the start. We also watched like all the Arnold Schwarzenegger movies too, Predator and Terminator and all that stuff too. But it was a bonding experience, especially, you know, I wasn't like a girly girl really. I wanted to watch. I mean, Barbie meant nothing to me, but I loved Morticia Addams. Like Angelica Houston changed my life as a kid. I was a weird little kid, and I say that as a compliment. But yeah, it just I don't know. It was like oddly comforting. Because, I don't know, life as a kid, I mean, I got picked on quite a bit and I was not popular and I was kind of a heavy kid and it was rough. And I just had more fun hanging out with Winifred Sanderson than the actual kids at the playground.
You're very much speaking our language.
Yeah. Yeah, we're like in this nerdy family, even if we just met and we're all like part of this thread, which is really cool.
100%. Yeah, I remember as a kid just seeing. I never even watched the Tim Curry as a kid, but I just remember seeing the VHS cover with him and that like alien hand, and I'm like, no, that's evil. I'm not going to watch that. That is
You're
terrifying.
smarter than me.
Also, I didn't have parents that were like, yeah, go watch this movie, because they were like, no, you're sticking to what we watch. Yeah.
Yeah, right? Literally the only movie that I remember my dad was like, nope, we're leaving. Was, believe it or not, it was a Sylvester Stallone movie. It was called The Specialist with Sharon Stone. We're like, oh, it's going to be a blow 'em up, cool movie. And we go, and I'm like, I don't know, 9, 10, and we go to see the movie, and they're just like having sex the whole movie. And my dad was like, we're out. Like alien clowns eating kids, no problem. But this is too much. I was like, yes, let's go. Let's get out of here.
But seeing Stallone's butt is way too much. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want that. I didn't want that.
I don't
That's
think
amazing.
anybody wants that.
I don't think so. Probably not. I mean, Sharon Stone
Especially
looked
not these days.
amazing, but yeah. Oh, you're telling me. Pass. I'm sure he's lovely. I'm sure he's wonderful.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sure.
And I'm sure he's
probably.
watching right now.
Yeah.
Oh, he watches every episode for sure.
Yeah.
Obviously.
So many celebrities listen to this. Yeah.
Same.
So you talked about like horror being kind of a communal experience and being like
Yeah.
a bonding thing between you and your dad, and like how have you found that's helped you build like the Horror Nerds podcast and like and just that like community that you have out in LA there?
Yeah, and I think a lot of us had a similar experience, not fitting in, but I've noticed that I especially connect really well with people who maybe have lost a parent because
Mhm.
for me, like my co-host Bonnie Marie Williams, who's an incredible voiceover actor, she has also lost her dad, and they kind of grew up watching Batman and horror films and Superman and Star Wars and all this stuff together. And so when it's almost like when we miss them, I can watch a movie, be like, oh my God, I remember watching Poltergeist with my dad and being so afraid of this bathroom scene where like his face is falling and then like when the meat goes across the counter. I mean, that oddly makes me think of my dad. That's creepy sounding. But like it brings me back to kind of an oddly more innocent time, if that makes sense, where like the only thing that I was afraid of in the world was a scary movie. That's not such a bad existence, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah. And the funny thing is, I remember, and I now know that he must have been messing with me, but I remember my dad saying, oh yeah, the movie that really scared me was Killer Clowns from Outer Space. And I got a bit about it, which I wish I would have written in time to put in the special, but like when I did the math, I was like, Dad, you were 36. They came out in 88. Like, please tell me you were kidding. What the hell? But that's funny to me. That's a great memory that I have now. My dad punking me, and I didn't even know he was punking me at the time.
Kidding. That's hilarious. Cause yeah,
Yeah.
Killer Clowns is, I mean, yeah, not
So
not a
fun.
yeah, not a scary movie. There's
Camp.
disturbing moments,
Sure.
the cop being a dummy puppet
Oh,
is
that
pretty,
guy.
yeah, it's pretty gnarly for a PG-13 horror comedy, but like, you know,
Right. Right.
when
And
you're
then
watching
like
other stuff.
yeah, and then believe it or not, I have a really great memory. Okay, you're gonna laugh so hard at me, but please tell me you've seen Jack Frost, the Killer Snowman.
We're covering it later this month.
Oh no way! Okay, this was
Yeah.
meant to be because my mom and I were obsessed, like full on obsessed with that movie, and we were like, "This is so bad, we can't stop watching it." We would just watch it and laugh and giggle, and it oddly became a bonding moment with my mom and I. I don't even know how we found this film, to tell you the truth. I don't even know. Um, and we had another so my mom and I actually got really pretty close. Like as she got older, she has passed as well. And so we got closer like when I was an adult. And one thing that really brought us together, believe it or not, was The Walking Dead. We used to watch it like not together because we weren't living together at the time. But we would watch it on our own every Sunday. We would have our weekly call. We would check in and talk about what happened to Glenn and oh my gosh. And I fell in love with Negan because I need therapy. But we just loved it so much. And actually, like a really cool memory for me personally was getting to meet Greg Nicotero and tell him that story. And I did, put that in the special. And that was a really amazing moment for me, getting to be like, dude, this means a lot. Like when I miss my mom, I can put on The Walking Dead and I think of her. And I know that sounds bizarre, but it's not because she didn't even like horror, but she loved The Walking Dead. And so it was our thing. It brought us closer.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I love that.
Yeah.
And you mentioned a couple times in the special going to horror conventions. Like you're definitely one of us. We love horror conventions. So I have a question for you. Who is
Yeah.
someone that you've met that you would recommend to every horror fan to meet at least once? Just one name that you would throw out there saying everybody needs to meet this person.
Easy answer, Kane Hodder all the way. Like that story in the special about meeting Kane for the first time is true, and I've gotten to spend a lot of time with him since. So my friend David Bertolino, have you heard of Spooky World out in Massachusetts? It was like the first kind of horror themed amusement park. It was
Yeah.
the first time that you could go and meet Robert Englund or Linda Blair or Kane or Cassandra Peterson, or all these like icons. And I've become friends with David Bertolino, who created it. And so I've been lucky enough to go to some of these conventions with David, and he's known everyone for years. So it's like, oh, hey, that's how I got to know Kane and a few other people. And probably one of the best stories of my life ever was David calls me because he did a documentary called Spooktacular about the park, and they were going to be doing like a big premiere screening. And he said, hey, I have a friend in town who wants to come to the screening. Can you go pick him up from his hotel? And I'm like, that seems weird, but sure, whatever you need, David. I go and Kane walks out. I'm like, oh, I'm picking up Kane Hodder. And so I've gotten to hang out with him a few times, and he's so genuine and so funny. I just saw him again recently at Son of Monsterpalooza, and I was like, hey, dude, do you remember that whole Uber joke where I made the stupidest joke ever? And I said, I hope an Uber driver who didn't get into Uber trouble. He's like, yeah, I remember. I'm like, well, the joke's in the special. You're in it. And I'm so excited. And it meant something to him and it meant something to me. And he's just so funny. He's funny. Like, the jokes that I wrote about Doug Bradley, I talk about that in the special. How he literally was like, write a joke about me that I've never heard before, and I was like, he's an intimidating dude, right? Yeah. He's tall and handsome and British and stoic, and I'm just like, oh god,
he's Pinhead, yeah,
and he's Pinhead. Oh, and he's Pinhead, but. So I ran off and wrote a bunch of jokes, and literally the first thing I did was run over to Kane's table, and I told him what happened. He's like, let me hear the jokes, and I did the jokes, and he laughed, and it was great. It was great. And Doug's reaction was very, like, but Kane was like, that's fucking great. Like, he's just so much fun and genuine, and like when we got to the movie theater that night when the screening was happening, he got mobbed, like paparazzi and people wanting autographs. And he sat and he talked to every single person and he was so nice about it. Yeah, he's the real deal. And he signs people's stuff. Freddie's a little bitch. Love Kane, which makes him even cooler.
That's amazing. Yeah.
I've heard nothing but great things about Kane.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That he's a total prankster too. I've heard that many times. Yeah.
Yeah. He asked me, he's like, can I come to the show and prank your comics? I'm like, of course you can. He's like, but you can't tell them I'm coming. I'm like, Kane, you can do whatever you want. Of course. And then he wound up moving, I think, to Utah. I'm like, no, why? So he doesn't, yeah. But open invite. I'm like, you can harass my comics whenever you want.
So with doing the like Horror Nerds podcast, doing these monthly shows at the Improv, have you being in LA, is there an interest in moving into like making horror films for you, whether that be in front of or behind the camera kind of thing?
Yeah, definitely. And you're actually the first person who's ever asked me that. So hell yeah. I would love to do that because as someone, I don't want to say as an artist because that sounds douchey, but like you're kind of always ahead of yourself. Like what's next and how can I grow? How can I expand the brand? How can I push myself as a creative person? And I would love to do that. And so I have a good friend, Cameron Rice, who is an amazing photographer and filmmaker, and he actually asked me, he's like, hey, do you want to write a short? I'll help you direct it. Like, we can totally shoot it in a couple days. So we came up with this idea. Also, my friend Ray Goots, who's an amazing New York comic, who now lives here in LA. And we came up with this idea of like a kind of like a Rogan type podcast where they have Lizzie Borden on the show. She's like an up and coming alt comic. And they're so obnoxious that she literally kills them at the end, and because they're like, women aren't funny. Anyway, it started as like a sketch, kind of like, obviously this is over the top and kind of campy. But then when we looked at the podcast studio, we started looking into it. Cameron was like, what if we made this, like, do we actually want to use effects? How do we want to shoot this? What do we want it to look like? And we decided, no, let's make this actually more of a horror tone. Why not? Let's actually go for it. And it's something different for me because I'm so used to writing punchlines and making it funny. And so I'm kind of excited about like, how could we make this really dark? And our DP was like, okay, well, there's this thing, it's called like Shot Deck, I think. And basically it's like a database. If you're familiar, it's a database where you can type in any movie and it'll show you like the colors and the camera and the lens that they use. And my first thought was like moody, red, dark, like Halloween Ends, believe it or not. I'm one of the rare people that love that movie. Do you love it?
I love it. Don't ask Casey what his opinion
on
it is.
Did we just break up, Casey? We just met. Are we having our first fight?
Okay, I've been with Sam since Halloween Ends has come out. I think we're fine. We'll be okay.
Okay, good. I really loved it. I thought like the aftermath was exciting to me to see how Laurie dealt with the trauma, how Allison dealt with the trauma of what happened. Yeah. I quite liked it. It was different. It was fun. I liked it.
Yeah. I'm also a huge Corey Cunningham stan.
He did
And
great.
I love Christine. So like, and I feel like
Mm,
Halloween Ends and Christine are like almost sibling films at this point. Like, there was just
yeah.
so much of that. And
I
yeah.
like that. We got to see John Carpenter play on Dia de los Muertos, which is really cool. Kind of
Oh
like a
shit.
little
That's
button on
awesome.
the end of
Yeah.
the spooky season. And it was and like at towards the end of the night, he's like, "Okay, I do need to ask you guys a favor, okay? Please drive home safe. Please get home safe." And we're all thinking he's going to be like, "Don't drive drunk." He's like, "Nah, Christine's out there." And then he played this song. It was so good. And there were clips behind him as he was playing. And it was
Oh,
just
that's
really cool
random.
experience. Yeah, it was really cool.
That's
Love that.
so
That's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask a follow up question to something you mentioned before. Was during the pandemic, you were going to filming locations, especially in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So we live in South Dakota. We don't have anything out here, but
Oh,
we have one location within roughly an hour drive from us where they shot the original Children of the Corn. So my question to you is there a
fun.
filming location you've never been to that you're like dying to go see?
Oh, I would love to see that one. For November, so every month at the Improv, we do a different theme. And the theme for November literally was Children of the Corn. And so the idea was all the comics had to write about creepy kids in horror films or corny movies. So I just wrote a bunch of Children of the Corn material, shockingly. And I would love to see that. Gosh, I mean, I'm a huge Conjuring fan, so I would like to see anything from, I would like to see the real Conjuring house, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
I would really, I'm also like, I'm a
Well, it's
paranormal
for
spooky
sale, I
kind of a
think, so you
girl.
could probably just go buy it
It was
now. Yeah.
auctioned and then it wasn't auctioned. I don't know what they're doing. And it's still, it kills me that Matt Rife owns the Warren Museum. I'm like, what is happening? Why? What? How? What is happening? Which is crazy, but his buddy, who's also does like the show with him, Elton Casti, who's really lovely. He's done Horror Nerd, and that was really cool to have him on. So I might call him and be like, "So is Annabelle like talk to you yet, or like what's up? Are you alive?" um,
Yeah, that's the real question. Are you alive?
yeah, are you alive? Yeah, though I have yet to go to the what is it, the Timberline Lodge in Mount Hood, the exterior of The Shining. I have yet to go
Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
there. I do. That's on my list for sure. I just recently I was doing some shows up in Reno, and so I drove down through Yosemite so I could see the Awani Hotel, which is like the interior of The Shining. It's stunning. It's beautiful. I was running around like a kid in a candy shop with my like glass of wine at like 2 a.m. Like, wow, look at this. This is great. It was amazing. It was so good. Everyone's like, what is wrong with this girl? I'm like, you know where you are. I don't know. But it was so cool. I think I would love to see that. I would actually really love, I believe it or not, I haven't been to Salem. I would love to see the Hocus Pocus house. Um,
Yeah.
that'd be fun. And then on a weird, like, personal family level, I would love to see some of the locations from The Witches of Eastwick. Because I'm a huge Michelle Pfeiffer fan and Nicholson, obviously. But my great aunt was a script supervisor on that movie. So I would love to see the big mansion where Jack Nicholson lived.
That's so cool. I,
Yeah.
I love that you have family history with that movie too. What a cool little connection too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, so when Karen was her name, my great aunt, when she passed away, we had her celebration of life party, and Veronica Cartwright came, and she was, of course, in that movie and an alien, obviously, and she was so lovely. She was so nice, and I was just a kid, and she was just really great, so lovely.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Right. Should we get to our big final question, Sam?
Ooh, the
Yeah, I
big
think so.
finale.
I think so. And I'm curious about this one. This is yeah. Yeah, let's
I'm
get to it.
excited for
Okay.
this.
Okay.
So Samantha, obviously you're
Yeah.
a huge horror fan. So our
You
question for you
noticed.
is, yeah. So the question is, you get a theater all to yourself that you can invite all your friends, all your family to, but you get to pick the two movies that you're watching for that double feature. What two horror movies are you pairing together for the ultimate Samantha Hale double feature?
Can I phone a friend? Can I buy a lifeline? This is hard. Um, oh gosh. Well, okay, so my top three films ever are Halloween, The Shining, and Beetlejuice. Um, but I've seen The Shining on a big theater. Actually, a really cool memory. I saw The Shining when the World Series was happening last year. And it was cool because they had a big screen downstairs. And so you could like watch the game and then go up and watch the movie and go back and forth. And it was the energy was electric. It was really, really a cool moment. And ironically, the Dodgers won again while we were at the John Carpenter concert. So I told my boyfriend,
so you need to be at a horror event next October again. Yeah.
I told him, I said, you're welcome. Horror made your team win, and we better book tickets to something right now if they want to win again. So you're welcome.
If Shohei Ohtani is not a horror fan, I don't know what the world's happening.
Right. Okay, so what movie? Oh my gosh. I would love to see Predator on the big screen. But what do you pair Predator with? I mean, you could pair it with Alien, that would make sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, this hurts my heart. This hurts my heart a little bit. I don't know. Oh my gosh. Maybe Predator and this is Predator doesn't make sense, but Beetlejuice, I've never seen Beetlejuice on a big screen. So I'm going with Beetlejuice.
Yes.
I'm going with Beetlejuice on the big screen because I'm obsessed with Michael Keaton and he's the best Batman, and Beetlejuice is like that I can't tell you how much joy that movie brings me. Beetlejuice and Beetlejuice because I can. Yeah, I like the second one. I will fight anyone who didn't like it. I don't care. I will go in there. It's so
fun.
good.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Beetlejuice and Beetlejuice. Yeah.
Hell yeah. I love that. You just said it 3 times, so if he pops up in the background, we'll know why.
I would love that. I've been trying for years.
That's amazing. Well, I love how much you love horror, Samantha. I love how much you love Beetlejuice. To program your whole double feature on that. Thank you for sharing Horror Nerd with us. Everybody check out this special if you have not yet. Samantha,
and thank you for getting it. Thank you for getting what I'm doing. Thank you. Really.
Well, thank you for doing it. I mean, like, that's the thing. Like, horror is a community, and it's
truly
for the weirdos, like you've said. So it's amazing what you're doing, and we're big fans. So
we're all big fans of each other now because we're all in this fun community. Horror people are the best. Like, we look tattooed and we're wearing our bloody shirts, but like we will give you that bloody shirt off of our tattooed back, you know?
Yes,
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if people have not caught it yet, where can they find it, and then where can they find you online as well?
Yeah, so the big ones will probably be Apple TV or Amazon Prime, but it's also on like YouTube or Google Play. I mean, if you just Google Samantha Hale Horror Nerd, it'll pop up. It's on iTunes as well, streaming there. The Horror Nerds podcast, we also have a podcast, and that's wherever you get your podcast pleasure, Spotify, iTunes, whatnot. And Instagram is probably, I update that all the time. There's all kinds of clips. And like from the live shows, from the special, that is at the Samantha Hale, and also at Horror Nerd Comedy.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here, Samantha, and we cannot wait to see what you do next with all of your talents.
Oh, thanks. I'm not crying. You're crying. Thank you. Thank you for having me anytime. I love talking to people who get it. Truly, it keeps me going. So thanks for having me.
You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal: providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.